Hey guys, I just wanted to jump on for a few minutes and share with you about something that God's been doing in my heart through praise and worship. So last Sunday, I get to church and I am ready to worship. I had a really hard week, but I'm ready to lay it down. I'm ready to be in the presence of God. So the band started, and the first song that they started playing was This Is Amazing Grace by Phil Wickham. I love this song because it talks about all the different things that God has done for us and the things that he's doing. And so my heart was getting into it. I was getting ready to go. And then the song got to one particular line, the line that says, "You make the orphans sons and daughters." And I froze and I started crying. And then I couldn't sing anymore. The reason for this is because my husband and I have been working on an international adoption for about 4 years. We've been pursuing an adoption of a little girl in Africa. And we actually had a referral to a little girl about 2 years ago in Tanzania. And she was our little girl in our hearts. And her picture was on our refrigerator, and we talked about her as part of our family. Unfortunately, through some political things, we lost the referral to Angel, so we were not able to adopt her. And it was very devastating for me. It was devastating for my family. But we felt like God was leading us to adopt a little girl from Africa. So we kept going, and we started again the adoption process in another country, this time in the country of Guinea. And things have been going well in Guinea. We were told that there is a little girl for us that they have picked for us, but we've not received an official referral yet. But this week I found out that our adoption agency will no longer be able to process our adoption, and they transferred us to another agency that may or may not even have the clearance to work in Guinea. So we may end up losing this little girl too. So you can see why my heart was a little bit struck when we sang these lines. You give the orphan, you make the orphan a sons and daughters. It's been a painful experience for me, and I've talked to God a lot about it. It's been a long time of waiting, a lot of disappointments, and on my best days, I'm filled with hope, and I'm clinging to the promise that he is going to bring us a little baby girl. And on my medium days, I just try not to think about it because I'm just trying to cope and get through the day. And on my worst days, I'm pretty sad and pretty hopeless about it. And I honestly think really horrible things on these bad days when I'm sad. I think awful things like, God, if you really do give the orphan son, make the orphan sons and daughters, why didn't you do that for that first little girl? Because she's still stuck in Africa. She's stuck in an orphanage. I think, are you going to do this again with the second little girl? We're not going to get to adopt her either. I think this isn't fair. I think, why am I being punished for trying to do something good? And I think the worst thing is probably some version of, God, you are sovereign, and I know that you could have stopped this thing at any second. You could have stopped it, you could have changed it, you could have made it right for me, you could have made it right for that little girl, but you didn't, and you haven't. And on Sunday, in that darkened sanctuary, what I realized was I am angry at God. Anger at God is not good. It is Christianity 101, right? God knows everything. I don't know everything. I have no right to be angry at God. I mean, you can ask Job, because when he dared to argue back with God on some things that God was allowing in his life, God gave him back a holy earful of reasons why he had no right to be angry at God. And so I should know better, right? I've been walking with the Lord for a while. I should know better than to be angry at God, right? Right. And anger, the thing about it is that it keeps you from being truthful and true and intimate in a relationship. It puts a guard up over your heart because you're afraid that you're going to get hurt. And when you're angry, you can't bless someone. You can't be in a trust-filled relationship with them. For my married friends out there, have you ever tried to actually bless your spouse when you're angry at them, or be affectionate with them honestly, or be intimate with them? You can't do it. You can't do it. You can go through the motions, but that heart connect, that's not going to happen if there's anger in the mix. And so Sunday, that's what I was experiencing with the Lord. I wanted to worship him, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't break through. I couldn't sing those words. I was mad. I was angry at him because I didn't agree with his decision. I didn't like it. I didn't like how it made me feel, and I was mad. And when I broke down and started crying and realized that that anger was there, I quickly started to understand that I needed to deal with the anger, because the thing about anger is it doesn't just go away. You can't just slide it under the rug. You can't. You have to deal with it. And so what I did was I looked at it for what it was. And I said, God, I repent of anger at you. I've been angry at you for not giving us Angel. I've been angry at you that this process has taken so long. I can hardly sing these words. I can hardly believe it anymore because I'm mad. I'm mad. You could have fixed it. You could have changed it. God, I'm angry and I don't know what to do with my anger. So I give it to you. I give it to you. And the word says that we can give him our burdens. The word says to cast all of our cares onto him because he cares for us. And I didn't really know what to do. So all I did was I said, here it is. Here's my anger. I give it to you. I repent of it. I turn away from it and I give it to you. And I started declaring his promises again, declaring the promises that he said over our little adopted girl, declaring his goodness to him, declaring that even though I don't understand what he's doing, he's still good to me. His goodness still is the thing that anchors my life. And as I did, I started to feel lighter. I started to feel better. I started to feel ready to engage my heart in worship. And by the time I looked up at the projection screen again, we were singing Elevation Band, the song Do It Again. I see you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. And then I'm just ugly crying, ugly screaming out these words, just shouting these, declaring these promises back to God and singing. And I just felt the Lord just do an overhaul of my heart. And as he took that anger, he replaced it with faith. And I'm so, so thankful for that experience. But I wanted to share this with you because maybe some of this has struck a chord with you. Maybe you are realizing that you have some anger at the Lord. There's all sorts of things in our lives that we can't control, all sorts of things that happen, tragic, horrible things. And maybe you've lost someone. Maybe you've been praying for a miracle and it hasn't come. And maybe the very worst thing happened in the end and you don't know what to do with it. I just encourage you today, if there's anger in your heart and offense against God for his decisions, all you have to do, there's good news for you. All you have to do is repent of that anger. Give him the anger. Give it to him. Literally, give it to him. And walk away from it and start declaring the promises that God has given to you. And he will take that anger away from you. Because the truth is, God, is slow to anger. He's not angry at you for being angry at him. He's not. And he hasn't been. He's there to forgive. He's there to take that away from you. And the truth is when you're in that place, the very place that you need to be is in his presence, worshiping him in spirit and in truth, not going through motions, but true heart connect with Jesus. So I hope that this resonates with you today, and I hope it helps. Let me tell you, I'm right in there with you walking through this, and so, so thankful that there's good news for us today.